What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go through the Atal'Dazar dungeon for Season 3 of Dragonflight. Back with another video going along our Dragonflight Season 3 guides. This one is pretty straightforward. The only rough part about this dungeon is the last boss, which was tuned and changed by Blizzard to not allow you to interrupt the ability that the boss casts, which has so far been very, very annoying for a lot of groups to get done on a higher key. Even though Atal is probably one of the easiest keys out there, it is still very frustrating that the last boss was changed like this. So that whole mechanic has been pretty much removed as of right now. So we're just going to go through the basics starting from the start here. For this specific video, we're going to go through a fortified route. Now, this is only a 19. I didn't really have footage of the higher keys that I did because I did them off stream. So right now with the 19, going with fortified, you're going to head straight down and go to the right here. A lot of the snap spots Blizzard also removed, so you can't really go to the left and pull those packs because your ranged will probably get one shot on a higher fort key. So you just go to the right for safety. On Tyrannical, you would go straight to Rezan, which is the first boss, and you just bypass everything and lost there. For purposes of Fortified, you're just going to go to the right here. You're going to grab this Stalker, which is invis on the stairs. Grab this Honor Guard with the totem here. We're going to sigil those two Stalkers up there and grab the Shield Bearers here. And this is going to be your first initial lust pull with grabbing all of these mobs. Now, you've got the Stalkers, which puts a poison on you. Not very fun, but not too hard to deal with. They do end up stunning you if you come out, if they hit you before you hit them when they're in stealth, so make sure you're grabbing them first, and make sure no one else is near them. You've got the two shield bearers, which are just going to do a shield bash. Previously, if you weren't as the tank, if you weren't closest to them when they did a shield bash, they would hit the nearest melee. I haven't seen them do that anymore. I'm not sure if that's still part of the game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I personally have never seen them kill a melee, even if I was out of range for some reason. Maybe due to sanguine kiting or anything. And then the third mob here is going to be that Honor Guard, which, as you can see, is not taking any, did not take any damage up until the point you do kill the totem. Now, it's up to you whether you want to kill the totem first. If you kill the totem, then the Honor Guard is going to start spurting all this green shit on the ground. Which is gonna, start doing some AoE damage, and start hurting the group. If you don't want to have that damage come out, you don't have to. You can kind of just kill everything else beforehand, but it does slow down the pull a little bit. And then with the shield bearers, like we saw just then, they put a shield up that you need to stun. You can't knock them, you can't fear them because they're undead, you have to stun them. So, blind does work as well, but you have to stun or blind them. So, and incapacitate, sorry, as well. Just a reminder, because there's two shield bearers in that pack, you want to make sure that you're syncing them up, so you're making sure that you're pulling them at the exact same time, and then you're also making sure that you're stunning both the shields, not just the one if you have an AoE stun, otherwise the next one's going to come up and you're not going to have anything if you only have limited stuns in your group. Our next mob is going to be an Honor Guard and the Shield Bearer, same as before, and you've got a Witch Doctor now, which is going to continuously use Venom Blast. You just want to kick rotation on this, so interrupt rotation, and then it's going to cast a Hex, which you need to make sure that you interrupt that. Otherwise, someone will get hexed, they'll have an AoE on them, and if they have that AoE on top of another person when the Hex gets removed, or when it expires, I'm pretty sure it hexes the people in that circle. I haven't had it happen yet, so luckily people in my groups know if there's a big circle on you, move away from people. Pretty self-explanatory. Here, another similar pack as the first one, with the same mobs. So you've got your shield bearers, you got your stalker, you got your witch doctor, and you got your honor guard. Same stuff. We're skipping that middle pack there, as you saw. We don't need that for the route here. Obviously, having a DH here is really useful because of Sigil of Silence, and you've got your your Chaos Nova as well for your AoE stun. Just has a lot of utility. Previously, you would have seen me do a lot of Blood DK stuff. I'm still doing a lot of Blood DK stuff. I've been playing all 6 tanks for a long time now. I'm just playing DH and gearing that up a bit more because of my push group. I'll be just playing whatever tank works with our comp. At the moment, I'm also currently gearing a Prot Paladin, just in case, because it seems like it does better with our comp as well. Here, I'm using Spectral Sight just to see where the 2 Stalkers are on the stairs. As you can see, they're right in front of me, and they're going down right now. If you have a DH, make sure you do that. Otherwise, if you have a Hunter, make sure you flare it. Or you have someone with some sort of AoE that can kind of get them out before they get you. Otherwise, you get stunned, like I said previously. So I'm going to grab them, and we're going to pull them into this pack here, which is going to have double Witch Doctor and 1 Honor Guard as well. So all you need to do, make sure you're interrupting those Venom Blasts and those Hexes, and then again, the Honor Guard takes no damage until the totem is killed. Don't forget that. So make sure you're always cleaving off mobs so the totem does die, and not, you know, kiting the mobs away from the totem so the totem stays alive too long, unless of course you're trying to minimize the amount of damage and your healer's struggling a little bit. You can pull these a lot less. You don't have to pull these as big as they are being pulled right now. Just go at your own pace and whatever you and your group are comfortable with. This is just a very quick run through of a 19 that we did on stream a few days back. Now over here, we're going to come to our first boss of this route. Remember, your first boss on many routes are going to be different. Some will do Priestess first, some will do Rezan first, some will do Vol'kaal first. For this one, we're doing Vol'kaal. You've got 3 totems. They all need to die at the exact same time, give or take 5 to 10 seconds. I forgot what the regen rate was, but they all need to die relatively close to each other. Otherwise, they will reanimate and will get to full health again, and you cannot continue with the boss. You have to kill them at the same time again, which is tedious. It's annoying. Don't do it. Make sure you have a DPS allocated to each totem. Make sure your tank and your healer are allocated to a totem and just helping out where they need to make sure all the totems are exactly the same health or relatively close. Now the boss is the only thing the boss is going to do here is do Toxic Leap on random targets, and also do an ability called Noxious Stench, which is always going to apply 1 stack before you interrupt it. This is the tank's job, by the way. Everyone else is focusing on the totems. The tank is doing absolutely nothing else. Tank, you're in charge of this kick. Very simple. If you really want someone else to be in charge of it, sure, but I find it much easier if the tank is the one dealing with it. So just make sure it doesn't cast long, because it will apply another stack, and there's no way to remove this stack. Unless, of course, you have like a revival from a Mistweaver Monk or something. I'm pretty sure it can remove all of it. But yeah, more than 1 stack, it does hurt a lot, especially on Tyrannical, so just be nice to your healer. As you can see though, on the right-hand side, all our totems are relatively the same. We've got 1 more about there, and they're all done. So now we're going to go into phase 2. It's going to constantly put stuff on the ground, just like the Honor Guards that we did before we go into this boss room. All you need to do is just kite it in a direction. Just go clockwise or anti-clockwise, kite it around the outside of the room. Make sure your DPS and your healer are close, or they can be in the middle if they want to, as long as they are not in front of where you're going. Otherwise, you're just going to be walking into the crap on the floor, and it's you know, you're just going to take unnecessary damage. But you just want to keep stuttering and just keep moving. Again, that's pretty much it. So it's just swapping the leaps that it does for just putting this stuff on the ground, and then all it's doing is meleeing the tank and then applying Noxious Stench, which is Noxious Stench, sorry, which is again the job of anyone to kick it at this point, because it is the second phase. So we're just going around. Very simple boss, very tank and spanky boss, very easy first boss of the dungeon. Now once this is done, we're going to go in our mounts, or we're just going to run down into the next pack, which is going to be a double Witch Doctor into a double Shield Bearer as well. Now again, try to pull them at the same time so you sync up the Shield Bearer's shields and you can stun them at the same time. Also making sure you're interrupting these mobs. These packs are fucking fantastic for Sigil of Silence from a Vengeance Demon Hunter, which is what I'm really, you know, enjoying about the DH. It just has so much and it brings so much to the group. I really do feel like it is a bit too overpowered compared to other tanks. Even though all tanks are viable at the moment, I feel like Vengeance Demon Hunter and Prot Paladin are going to definitely take a massive leap forward as the season progresses if nothing is changed. I don't think the Legendary is going to do that much for Blood DK, because Blood DK still, at this point in time, will eventually just get one-shot by absolutely anything. If you're just unlucky. That's just how Blood DK is, unfortunately. You can still do the high keys, but sometimes just you blink or you look away for a second and you're just dead. We're going to pull these mobs. So you've got the Toxic Sourids and you've got the Sky Screamers. The Sourids are just going to pick a random target and they're just going to leap to them. Make sure that everyone's in combat, because if it's only you or it's only you and one other person, all the Sourids are going to leap to that one person and they're probably going to kill them on a high enough fortified. So make sure everyone's in the same in combat. And the Sky Screamers, all they're going to do is just, well, cast an ability, which will put a fear on everyone if it goes off. So make sure it doesn't go off. Very simple. This week specifically that we're doing this key is obviously Spiteful, so it is very annoying for a lot of DPS and the healers. Luckily, us tanks don't have to worry about Spiteful too much. And then we're going to go into this middle pack here, which you would want to have Lust for this, but we are going very quickly on this key, so this would be your second point of Lust, which is a very simple mid pack. The reason why you do this pack now is because if you didn't know, Blizzard did nerf the... Or nerf, I guess a nerf would be the right word, but they increased the amount of mob count you needed on Atal'Dazar because it was too quick. And even though they increased the mob count, the difference between what it used to be and what it is now is pretty much the exact same percentage of what this middle pack gives you. So just do this middle pack on top of whatever you used to do on your old routes back in the day, and you'll be sweet. So we're going to do this mob. This mob pack is going to have the Sourids, the Jumpy Boys, like I said before. You've got the Dinomancer, which is going to do deadly aim at a random target, and also a ability that you need to interrupt, which is Dynamite, which will buff everything else. And then you've got these two Triceratops, which you need to... one of them is going to do a frontal, which it's a charge. You need to just make sure you face it away, which is Frenzy Charge. Otherwise it stuns you and everyone in it. And then you've also got Wild Thrash, which is just an AoE. Just heal it. Very simple. You can see I'm pulling the Sky Screamers up the top, just to make sure that there's extra mobs in there so we can make it more efficient. You don't really want to just keep these 3 or these 2 mobs just chilling the whole time. You kind of want to bring things in, make it a bit quicker and more efficient. Remember, like I said in previous videos, you don't really want to just be doing 1 or 2 mobs at all in any case. You want to be trying to grab as much as you possibly can that your group can handle. Obviously, if my healer was struggling, or if my DPS didn't have a lot of cooldowns and it was a higher key, I wouldn't be doing that. But I know what they can do, so it's good enough for me. Now we're just waiting for the Patrol of Rezan. It's on a perfect position now, so we're going to jump down. We're going to grab Rezan. Now you want to position Rezan here, next to these big parts of the wall here. So you can LOS, or line of sight, this ability called Terrifying Visage, which is going to be a fear if you get hit by it. As a DK, you can just AMS it and just stand there. As pretty much everyone else, you got to go back and just LOS very quickly at the last second behind this wall here. Now you're going to use this water on the side as your kind of guide of where you're going. So as you can see, it targets our Havoc Demon Hunter. He's just going to go all the way to the other side, and then you'll be sweet. Now, there is a trick here where you can either use any type of invis to prevent the boss from having to chase you and then get to you. Now, if he does end up catching up to you, you will get eaten and take a considerable amount of damage, and it is not going to be fun. You're probably going to die because it does do a lot of damage, so don't get eaten by it. But you can invis it, you can shadow meld it, you can feign death it, you can vanish it. Anything that can drop aggro will stop it, but you need to make sure you do it after he starts chasing. not during the cast. And also, if you didn't know, you can actually shadow meld for somebody else. I don't know why this is part of the game, but it is part of the game, which is kind of weird. But yeah, if you can notice, whenever you have a group of Night Elves, if you get targeted and you're not a Night Elf yourself, or you don't have a aggro drop ability, you can just have someone else shadow meld, and it'll drop your aggro, which is weird, but give it a try next time you see it. Besides that fact, the only other ability this guy does is Serrated Teeth, which is the tank buster mechanic, which just puts a big bleed on the tank. It doesn't really hurt at all, in a DK perspective and a DH perspective, because you can just heal yourself back up. On the other tanks, it kind of hurts a little bit, and you might need a bit more help, but every tank should be able to deal with this no problem. As you can see, our Havoc didn't run fast enough there. He got eaten, he got 2-shot. So, yeah, there's an example of what happens if you don't run away far enough. Also, these bone piles on the ground, if you didn't notice, if Rezan walks over them or you walk over them, they will spawn a raptor, which actually does hurt the tank quite a bit if there's too many raptors up there. You can grab them out if you have something like a rogue that can funnel damage onto a single target if there's more mobs around them. It's not necessary, but it does work if your tank can actually deal with the damage being taken at that time. But yeah, besides that, that's pretty much the fight. It's very straightforward. We're going to go up this way. We've got a bunch of Sourids to do. So we've got a pack of Sourids here. We've got a pack of Sourids upstairs as well. And then we're going to go and head over to Priestess Alun'za. We're going to go up. We've got a pack of Sourids there. And then we're going to go in the middle here. So this is close to where the big pack in the middle was just before. So we've got the Sourids and another Screamer. Same kind of mobs that we've dealt with already. And then we've got another Screamer up the top. I don't know if I pick this up now or I pick this up later. But you would rather pick this up now. You can see the Screamer over there. I don't think I pick it up yet. No, I do. Or someone does. Okay, so we grab the Screamer. I'm going to go into the next pack. Again, another Screamer, another bunch of Sourids. Very, very, very standard packs. They're just everywhere around the middle. And we're going to do these packs. I'm going to pull the Screamer after the Sourids are dead into this. Now, once you interrupt the Augurs once, they won't cast Wildfire again if the tank is in melee range of these specific Augurs. Again, I don't know why, but it's been like this since BFA. So if you just interrupt them once. So just get the first interrupt, you're good. I'm pretty sure it's an interrupt or it's a stun, but from what I saw just here, it was just an interrupt. So it seems like if you just interrupt it once, it doesn't cast again. So just get the interrupt and you're fine. Now when these mobs are about to die and you see the flame at the bottom disappear, just follow the tank and grab the mobs and just keep going up. So you don't have to wait for the fire and then waste another 10-15 seconds trying to get through. Now this pool here, you've got double Priestess, one on each side. Triple Priestess, sorry, one on each side and one in the middle. You've got one Augur and a bunch of Honor Guards and a bunch of Juggernauts. Honor Guards are going to do melee swings on the tank, big tank busters. Juggernauts are going to charge at random people, range specifically, and do a little twirl. That's going to do a lot of damage on Fortified, so be careful. Priestesses are going to channel an ability on you, and if you're not in the blood that they put down on the floor, they will heal. But if you're in the blood and you're targeted, then they will deal damage to themselves instead, which is the exact same ability of this next boss. Now, again, there's only one Augur, which is marked triangle here. That is the only mob you need to interrupt. Do not let this mob cast, so just make sure you have a rotation, a kick rotation going. Now, everything else is very standard. With the priestesses as well, if you don't want them to cast, just stun them, or, you know, knock them back or something. Just make sure they don't cast. Now, the Juggernauts do cast as well. A Fanatic Rage, which is just an enrage ability. It's not very important, but it is important, right? But if you're going to kick something, make sure you kick the Augur first. The Augur is a lot more dangerous. And this Transfusion, that's the ability that you need to stand in the pool of blood for, or stop it in order to kill the Priestess. So now we're going to go to the next boss, which is going to be the Priestess. Now this boss is very simple, but a lot of people do forget some things in here. Now, the first ability the Priestess is going to do is going to be doing Gilded Claws. Now this ability needs to be purged because the boss does a ridiculous amount of tank damage, and it needs to be purged. Just on a high key, it's going to kill your tank unless they have some crazy cooldowns going. Just have someone purge it, like a shaman or a demon hunter or a hunter. Preferably any one of those. There are more classes, but those are the three off the top of my head. It's also going to summon a Spirit of Gold. You need to stun them, you need to stop them, you need to make sure they are dead, because they will be going towards the blood pools on the ground, as you can see here, and there will be, if they go near it, they will remove it. And those blood pools are very crucial to killing this boss. This boss is the quickest boss in the game right now, in the season, and you'll see why. Also, it'll start summoning Molten Gold, which is just these gold spheres going around the room. If you get hit by it, you get a nasty dot, and it will probably kill you on a high key, so just be careful not to run into that. And as you can see, there's an ability called Transfusion coming out. About 5 or 4 seconds left. Everyone needs to grab one of these pools, so just walk into it. Try not to steal your ranged pools, because they should be standing next to it already. Otherwise, you're going to screw them over. But as you can see here, everyone has that debuff now, which is the blood pool. And when you see the lines going to your players, if they're all red, that means you've done well. If they're gold, that means you've done bad. And you're healing the boss instead of dealing damage to the boss. Now the transfusion will happen, and as you can see, the boss gets absolutely destroyed, and that's just one transfusion. We've only 35 seconds into the fight. So then it's just going to repeat itself. Same thing. Gilded Claws, Molten Gold casts, summons, and then make sure you pick up your blood. 5 to 4 seconds left until the next transfusion. So we've got a Ring of Peace there, we're stopping the gold, we kill the gold, we jump into the pool of blood at the last second, and we transfusion. Now this is where you want to use, AoE cooldowns, defensives, yada yada yada, because it does a lot of damage on a higher key. It does do a lot of damage, so make sure you're being nice about it. But yeah, that boss itself took about a minute. It's very quick. Now yes, it's not tyrannical, but it still takes about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes on the tyrannical, so it is very quick. Most tyrannical bosses will take a while. Now, that was 100% on the nose. I'm going to go here. You got about 10 seconds of roleplay before the stairs come out. And then these spiders. Woo, these spiders. This boss kills a lot of people because they do not look at the floor. Now, you need to look at the spiders on the floor. Do not get hit by the spiders on the floor, especially in the boss fight. Otherwise, you will die very quickly. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, this boss used to have an ability that you could interrupt. It now has the same ability, but it is not interruptible anymore, so you have to deal with the damage and the dot that comes after it, which is very annoying. Now, we're going to pull the boss. You want to have someone as the designated stack point in order to drop your Soul Rends on, which is going to be your spirits, which you have to kill. Now, it does a lot of damage, but you have to kill them and make sure they don't hit the boss, otherwise everyone gets a massive dot and it's not fun. It is a bad dot. So it's going to do Racking Pain, which is that ability you can't interrupt anymore, as you can see. If you are a warrior and it does target you, you can spell reflect this for a lot of damage, so very, very awesome for warriors. Otherwise, good luck everybody else. It's going to do Skewer as well, which is just the tank buster mechanic. Just does a bit of damage to the tank. If you have a defensive, you're fine. Echoes. Echoes is after Soul Rend here. So Soul Rend, you can see those purple arrows on top of your head. Just stack up nice and tight. Wait for the souls to come out. And then you want to immediately stun them or slow them or root them or anything. Just keep them still. Don't let them go near the boss because they'll be following and going towards the boss. And now Echoes is where it drops spiders beneath or around where the players are. So you want to be baiting those as well. As you can see, there's a bunch of them in the middle now, but they will follow to where the players are. So you want to be nice and tight against the wall so they end up going towards the wall and not taking up room in the middle. And you also want to be, as you can see, behind the boss. You want everyone to be behind the boss when you're baiting the spiders. but you want everyone to be in front of the boss when you're baiting the echoes, which are your images. Purely because there should be a lot of room in front of the boss to be safe, and then all the spiders should be behind the boss where it's not safe. Which is pretty much the way that we've been doing it. There's probably other ways to do it that are easier, but this boss is an absolute clusterfuck on any time that I've done this. If you have a better way to do it, please let me know in the comment section below, because this one, it seems to be just insanely difficult for a lot of people to get and understand, and it's rough. It does get rough on a higher key. So as you can see, we've got everyone going together. There's a spider right next to them, so they have to be careful there. You want to kill all of those before you go back onto the boss. Now, previously you can, not previously, but you can do like, if your group is good enough, you can, if you have a monk, you can ring of peace like around the boss, so you can cleave off the boss onto the mobs as well. And if you have a good enough cooldown rotation, you can do that too. But it's very risky. But the whole point of this boss is you want to kill it as soon as possible. Now, if you saw that there, our Havoc Demon Hunter didn't see that there was a spider next to him. He got into it, and this is a 19 fortified, not even tyrannical, and he almost got one shot. Like, granted, he is undergeared, but the premise still stands. Don't get hit by the spiders. And they also leave a pool of purple shit on the ground that does not go away. So, it doesn't go away, or it takes a very long time to go away. Now, you want to find your open space again. This is very sketch because it's right in between a bunch of spiders. Could have gone into the alcove there, but that's alright. As long as everyone follows, that's the main thing. Everyone needs to follow the same person. Because if people have different ideas and they go in different directions, it just becomes utter chaos. And it's just not good. But yeah, that's pretty much the key. But yeah, as you can see, like even on a low key, it's pretty rough. Like, there's just stuff everywhere. The spiders continuously follow. They just get more and more throughout the key, throughout the fight. But it does end up stopping. Like, the spawns do end up stopping at a certain point. But you'll need eventually on a higher key someone with an immunity. So, for example, in our group we have our rogue who has Cloak of Shadows at the moment, or you can have a demon hunter with Netherwalk, which you can have those guys run over the spiders once they're all stacked in a certain area, so you don't have to deal with as many spiders. But again, they will drop all the purple stuff on the ground, so you just want to make sure you find an area like a deep corner or in the alcove where the boss spawns to try to maneuver all the spiders in there, so then you can clear them all before you continue with the boss. But yeah, that's pretty much the fight, and that's pretty much the key. Almost got the 3 chests there, very close. But yeah, damage was very low. This was to help a viewer out on stream. But yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. This is Atal'Dazar, a old favorite from Battle for Azeroth. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you guys for the likes and the comments and all the subscriptions throughout the few weeks of Dragonflight Season 3. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.